All right, we are live on Las Vegas Triathlon Club Facebook page, and we're recording. I'm John Mercer, president of Las Vegas Tri Club, and we're doing a Las Vegas Tri Club member spotlight. And for this member spotlight, we are going to talk about TEAMG. Obviously, there was this horrific, tragic, I can't even use the word incident. It's terrible. You know, we don't even have the right word for this. Where five of our friends, five of our local community were killed in this by a truck driver running over them. And what we wanted to do tonight was talk about them, talk about the people, and then also talk about some of the initiatives to support their families, their friends, and also the community in general. And I've got two people on here tonight that have really been sort of blazing the path with helping raise awareness and really honor the five and their legacy. Hutch, how are you tonight?
Hey, John, doing well. Thank you.
Thanks for joining, and really thanks for all the work that you've been doing and providing leadership to the community on trying to manage just all the emotions that are going on right now.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thank you.
And I've got Dax. Dax, thanks for joining us. Dax has also been really instrumental with helping organize the different events and help organize the vigil for Erin last night. And Hutch was put together the vigil for everyone last Saturday. Amazing what both of you have done. So thanks, Dax, for joining.
Thank you.
So this is still, we're only just a week after the event, and it's really hit the community so hard. And it's hit the community hard for lots of reasons. One is we knew all these folks. It also could have been any one of us because it was a very popular ride that they were on, and it's hard to put in words what's happened over this week. But I don't know, maybe a good place to start is to talk about the five cyclists five athletes, family members that were killed. Hutch, I know you worked really hard right away to organize bios of them. Do you want to go through each of the athletes that were killed?
Sure. So just wanted, so I knew of every athlete, and I knew a few of them personally, but a few of them I had just met, and a few of them I didn't know very well at all. Probably just rode with them in a couple of group rides. So a lot of the things that I gathered, I thought it would be better to get from people that knew them rather than like all of them, even more better than me. People that had better relationships with the individuals, so they can tell the real story, their real bios, and along with some of the some family members got involved, and also I got some of the stuff from the media as well that were interviewing family members. That's kind of how I did these bios leading up to the vigil. I can start with Aksoy. I met him through Breakaway Cyclery on group rides. We used to ride with him a few times here and there. We'd go and have coffee sometimes, different places. Aksoy was from Turkey, I believe, and he was the reason he stood out to me, and I only met him a couple times, was because he was so outgoing and outspoken and energetic, and kind of like when you walk into the room, he was like the room pleaser, you know what I mean? And I remember when the first times I met him, he was just getting kind of into the group rides, similar to like some other fantastic riders these days, Dax being one of them. And before you know it, it was passing me. But super athletic, great guy. Had a few kids. I believe he had some twins, and an older boy or girl. And yeah, like I said, he was like a social butterfly. Great guy. Didn't know him all that well. way too young, and I wish I could have got to know him better. In fact, I did an interview for one of the news companies, and they're like, okay, here's the questions we're going to ask you. And one of the questions was a personal one they asked me, which was, why do you enjoy cycling? Like, what do you get out of it? And I pondered that question before I gave him the answer, and I gave him the answer. And then I thought, you know what? That's going to be my 2021 resolution. I want to know everybody's reason and what they get out of cycling. And that gives me an excuse to kind of talk and get to know everyone when we're riding, rather than just drafting them, because I'm notorious for drafting everyone, because got a big beer belly. So yeah, that's Aksoy, and his example to me is to be more social, basically, and I want to be a better social butterfly, so I can be and I think I'm like an internet social butterfly, but I need to be better at being in person.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
So I share that goal with you, Hutch, because my riding, I do 95% of my rides on my own, and like you, I knew two of these athletes. I did not know Aksoy, but reading and hearing people talk about him, what a missed opportunity, and I really love what you just said, is that maybe it's a goal of people like you and me, that maybe we don't socialize as much outside. Maybe we need to do that and really get to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Members. So
I think it's in the bike setting where I don't social. I just put my head down and ride, and plus I'm more of a mountain biker. And it's kind of my therapy, so I don't like to really go on big rides. And then COVID kind of jacked me all up and had me all messed up. As you know, I'm quarantining right now as we speak. So why don't you, instead of me telling you about everyone, you said you knew a few of the folks like Tom.
Yeah.
Why don't we kind of skip back and forth, and Dax can throw in his memories and stuff of one of these individuals.
That sounds good. Yeah, I knew Tom. Tom and I are in the same age group, 55, 59. Tom is much faster than me, but it was still fun to connect with him. And I'll tell one story that, when I first met him, it was at an event at an event about physical therapy of all things. And we were introduced to each other and just sort of talking, and we got talking about Kona, and we're both trying to qualify for Kona, and we're trying to hit the podium on our age group. And I was talking with him, and he said, yeah, I asked him, I said, where are you going to try to qualify? And he said, I want to say it was Louisville, but it might have been Cozumel. And he said, oh, that's good. They'll probably have 3 slots at that race. And he says, oh no, I'm going to win it. And I was, at first, I was sort of taken back, but he didn't say it in a way that was gloating, but he said it in a way, and I've reflected on this, he said it in a way that it was a mindset. And then the more that I got to know him, the more I could tell that he's a very humble guy, but his mindset was very strong. And recently I missed a Kona slot by 5 minutes, and so I messaged him recently. It was last year, and sharing that story. And I said, gee, I got to find 5 minutes somewhere. And he said, yeah, I'll help you with that, because and he said, it's probably just a mindset. And I really have been thinking more and more about that conversation. And I'm really looking forward to trying to qualify again and have that mindset that you got to have that mindset that you're going to win, and not in a cocky way in any way. It was just, he was a very strong-willed person. And to see the people who came out to honor him at the Saturday vigil that you organized, and comments are coming from around the world. I mean, he had such a big impact on so many people in a very positive way. And so it's a big loss for the community, but he was such a wonderful athlete, and a wonderful father and husband to his wife, Donna. and he's going to be missed.
Agreed. Dax, what about
I could say the last few rides that we've been riding October, had a nice station while riding with Gerrard. We were I was just riding with my athletes and my clients. We were really like riding slow, and then there's just one guy that popped up from nowhere and went to my right side, and all of a sudden I see Gerrard, and he said, "Hey Dax, what's up?" So we kind of like catch up, and then we were talking about him coming back to do some serious racing, supposedly I think January, because he asked me to get his VO2, and we were just catching up. Actually, I even told him, "Hey, dude, what are you doing here? You're gonna get bored here because it's a slow ride." And he actually looked at me and said, "No, I need this ride. I'm just sometimes I just want to chit chat, and I just want to like just chill, and I said, "Are you sure? Because we're not going fast. I'm with my group." And then he just said, I'll be beside you. It's a nice day to catch up anyway." So we discussed some stuff about like the racing, about his racing, and him getting his VO2. So that was my last I think ride with Gerrard. But there are several times that we were riding too at 159, and he would just show up because he always would just ride from his house and go to 159. And 159 is easy for most of my group and my athletes. So we just go back and forth there, and he would just show up and do like 15 miles with us, or like 18 miles, and then when we take a break, he would just keep going. So that was my last encounter with Gerrard. And then with Erin, I think it was Tuesday, because me and Erin were not even talking about cycling anymore or triathlon anymore. She would just like see some pictures of my baby. She would message, she said she wants to meet her, in person when the pandemic is done. And that's something that is, we need to look at. Like if we say, I feel like we could have set up something, move the schedule a little bit, and we could find ways on how she could see the baby. But we don't expect this. So something that like, I guess lesson is like when I always talk to Hutch, and we always just like, yeah, let's hang out or like grab a coffee. We got to really do it, because
yeah, we keep. I think to your point, Dax, we take advantage of time. We think that it's just always going to be there, and the reality is it's not. This is a limited time offer here that we have, and time is precious, man.
No, and
it's
with
precious.
Tom, and with my experience with Thomas, I first met him after a ride, a once day lifetime ride, and me and Eric were on our way home, and he was circling around the roundabout, and we saw him, and then the next Wednesday I think I saw him again, and then we kind of like talked because he was wearing the Everyman Jack jersey, and I guess John can attest to this, that these guys, they're killer, man. Like every place that you go, every age group. So I always motivate my brother. If you're around those Everyman Jack, for sure you're gonna be in the podium. So that was the case. And then I have another athlete that is, wanted to be on that team, and by God's grace, I guess he met him on the road, and then they talk, and he told me of how Tom is very accommodating, very like welcoming, even slowed down when he saw my athlete. And so they were talking and how to be an Everyman Jack, and then my athlete said, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry for disturbing your ride. I'm gonna go." And then Tom just looked at him and said, "What do you mean you're not gonna ride with us?" So he's very engaging, and that's the thing with triathletes. we are known to be just, like we're on our own. We don't say hi. We don't say, because we're so focused on the things that we do sometimes, like we kind of like forget what's going on around us. But me as a triathlete, it was a challenge when I met Pat back in 2009, I think, or 10, and then Hutch to, it's you could do it. You could be friendly. You could still be friendly and do your numbers. And that's something that Tom kind of like that's the memory of Tom. At least for me, that's how I remember him. And Aksoy, I there were some road bikes. I mean, rodeos for breakaway rodeos for kids that
Mhm.
I was with him probably like 3 times, because I always go with before all this pandemic happens.
Oh, he was
I
at every single one.
Yeah, he was there,
Yeah.
and he's very tall. He's this, you're not gonna miss him, because
Yeah.
he's is this guy's tall, and he has an accent just like what Hutch said. He's from Turkey, so um, big presence every time there's an activity.
hmm Yeah. To kind of circle back on a couple of the other athletes you mentioned, in Gerrard, um, I, I didn't really get a good chance to know Gerrard like I wanted to. My first encounter with him was I was on a ride. This is when I was in shape, um, and I couldn't I couldn't get him to fall off. He was like a sleeper. I was like, who is this guy? Yeah, dude was a serious. He's similar to me, a bigger build, but
Mm-hmm.
has some power, man. Man,
Mm-hmm.
and witty, super witty. Man, the guy's so funny. I just remember a couple of times, with the group of other guys I knew, uh, he was funny, super funny, because he'd be all quiet and then all of a sudden bust out a joke. Super
Mm-hmm.
witty. Yeah, I wish I would have got to know him a little bit more. Again, time is a limited time offer. And Erin, man, whew, man, that's a hard one for me because I knew Erin really well, like you guys, because she was like, I feel like she was brand new to the sport, period, and all of a sudden was a veteran in a year. It was crazy. She knew everybody and just talk about a social butterfly, bouncing all over the wall. And I can remember when she first started, and then what, a year later she's a pro. I was like, geez, the girl's amazing. She
Very
definitely humbled
talented.
me a few times, that's for sure. Little tiny girl with so much power, it was ridiculous. And we've had lots of long text messages and conversations from the beginning to pretty much now. I remember just not too long ago, she was having a little bit of issue with some other athletes that were kind of hating on her. And then I was trying to console her in that. I don't know. You remember that, Dax? I talked to you a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Um,
Well, I think her mom put it well during the vigil. Erin's tenacious.
yeah,
And
for
that
sure.
tenacity can sometimes come across a little differently. And
Yeah. If you don't know her,
yeah,
then yeah, definitely. But once you know her, she's like the sweetest little girl in the world.
I,
Uh,
I I think that's also like one thing. That's her defense. Like,
mhm.
um, I mean, I'm not gonna shy away telling you guys that me and Erin we had our own thing, disagreements and everything. But I guess it's just a matter of if you're really a friend of a person, you have a like issues and disagreement. You could talk, talk and
Correct.
agree. Um, that's one thing. And we were talking. John was saying like um, back to back 2 years, she was killing it, and she got that award, um, the best female athlete for the Tri Club. It could have been three, John, but I was the one person that told her, "You have nothing to prove anymore to this in the community. You want to be now somebody that can like encourage young athletes, because if I'm an athlete and I'm incoming and I see you, oh my God, so everybody's now just racing for second. But I told her, if you kind of like just give way but still be present to all these events, and they see you, it will change. That's how you do your, like people will talk about you for you win, like you're the first person to finish, the fastest person. Talk about you about like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then but there's another guys that are coming in. But if you help a person and you inspire them, you would not even know that you touch people's lives. And this is not just by winning a medal or something. And I don't know if she agreed with me that time. And I know she was telling me, but it will be nice to get like 3 times. And I said, yeah, that could be a personal goal, but I just put it out there of my opinion of how she can be really like monumental to people's lives, and and how can you be more inspiring, rather than just this person. You want to humanize yourself at the same time, so people can relate and people can not be afraid to do the sport. And she agreed with me at the end, and like I said, it's there are things that you could disagree with the person, but loyalty above all. You want to keep that friendship, and you could be you could be right there, still accepting the person's different opinion than anybody else, and still be you. And that's how Erin is. She's not afraid to say something. She's not, and it is what it is. For those people that doesn't like it, okay, she, that's just how
I
it
mean,
is.
Erin had to be. First of all, she's a woman, and people don't treat women the way they should, especially in our sports. And secondly, she's a small woman, so she had to show that she was a strong, young, powerful woman, and I appreciate her for that. In all honesty, did you have any thoughts on her, John?
Oh yeah. Oh, Erin she was great. She was such a competitor, and I loved it when she showed up for races because she was serious and she took those races serious, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so now Dax, maybe I need to be upset with you that she didn't come back the third year to.
I'll take that.
But no, I for those types of races, I love it when we get the fastest people in town to show up, and she was the fastest,
Oh
and
yeah, for sure.
just a talent. And but
Mm-hmm.
as I said during her video, she really had two qualities that I really really liked and respected about her. One, her competitiveness was fantastic, but then also her love for others, and she could turn
Mm-hmm.
around and just be so loving and encouraging to other people, obviously with her huge circle of friends. And I don't know how she kept up with her Strava because she was so engaged in the community.
Mm-hmm.
She really was very loving to the community.
Do you see she has, I think, 9 or 10 pages of crowns on Strava, on and then she got like, I think, 5 or 6 on Run. So that's how she's really
Yeah.
like, if she wants it, she's gonna get it. It doesn't matter what
Mm-hmm.
time. I witnessed that because she would go in the shop and she would look at my brother and she would Chris. He goes like, hey, you guys wanna set me up for this QM? And I even remember right there at Sahara, she asked Chris to set her up right there in Sahara. And you know how Sahara is so busy in traffic. So but she just wanted it, and she would not stop. Like when she said, and then you heard Malone saying, why do you have to do this? You don't have to prove anything. But and Malone is right. The more you try to stop her, the more she's just gonna do it. Like what you resist, and what you resist persist. And that's her personality. It's almost like she would take it as an extra challenge if you're trying to like stop her. Yeah, and that's how fierce she is. Like she gets an email and she goes like, Dax, I got an email. Who's gonna help me now to get that back? That's how she is, and she doesn't shy away. She would just really tell you she wants that QOM. She wants that thing. She's
And
gonna do it.
I know she wanted to beat me, so that was always fun. So
Yeah.
I feel bad. I did not know Mike Murray.
Well, Michael, I could talk a little bit about that. Kind of leads us into it because you're talking about discipline, and Michael Murray was definitely had discipline. A surviving addict, transitioned all that energy into cycling. He was an old school triathlete, one of the old school guys you used to see on the podium back in the day, before many of the people in the community even did triathlon, back when triathlon was actually popular. Yeah, I remember seeing him and a few other of the old school names on the podiums all the time in the local.
Danny Murphy and pretty boy Chris Fetter.
Yeah, the pretty boys. They always had their shirts off with their medals on them.
Danny Murphy, you would not even see him because he's just, after he raced, the first place always empty. He just goes home like nothing happened. That's just
So Mike did do triathlons?
Well, not necessarily the big, huge ones, but like the small little sprint things like that. All those guys,
I love it.
Rode together. Yeah, he was a religious man too, and I've had the opportunity to meet some of his family members recently, and great people, super down to earth, loving people. And I've heard some stories from them, and from what I've heard, he was also a great loving man, with a passion just like the rest of us for the bicycle. A good guy that you want to talk to more about him is going to be the folks over there, Eric, over at the bike brand.
Mm-hmm.
Those were all his really good friends over there for cyclists, and dirt. Those are the guys you should try to get in touch with to get a little bit more in depth about Michael Murray.
Well, I tell you what, I was really touched by the people who spoke for Michael at the vigil, and the recovering addict part that was touching, and his brother
David
talking. Yeah, that was touching. And I think Michael, he was a motorcycle racer. Was that why the motorcyclists showed up? Was that the connection with that group? Or
I'm not sure about the motorcyclists, but yeah, but I think he did more of the motocross type motorcycle stuff than the Harley, whatever those guys are riding. I think those guys were, I could have swore they said they also were cyclists, a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've ever been on like a street motorcycle or anything, but it's they kind of have the same issues we have with safety and sharing the road. It's hard to be seen on those things too.
Yeah. Well, let maybe we'll switch gears over to talking about things that we can do long term to honor the legacy of these five. But then also the community in general. And you mentioned motorcycling, they always have this unwritten rule that they wave to each other all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. That's my rule too when I'm on a bike.
We do that in our cycling community.
I've never not done that. I don't mean to brag or anything, but I always wave at everybody.
I do as well. And I think it should be just a standard rule that we should all be waving, but unfortunately,
I think you know what, it used to be worse. It's getting way better.
Yeah, good.
And I get it. You're especially you triathletes. You got your head down. You got a certain amount of time to do something. You got another discipline to do afterwards. You got to eat a certain time. You guys are super disciplined athletes. I know. I did it for like a year and a half, so I get it. But even just when you're down in those drops and going aero, just a little hand movement.
Yep.
That's all you need.
It is. It's a two finger, whatever it is. You just need to acknowledge each other because we're all out there together and we're all dealing with the same things. And the more we can connect with each other, even a nod or what have you, I think is important. But let's talk about some of the, you both organized great events this past week, and just amazing to see the outpouring of support from the community, which I had no doubt that they would. But going forward, what type of initiatives are you each working on? And then I can talk a little bit about what the Tri Club's working on as well.
Oh man, we got a lot going on right now. You would be amazed at some of the things that are going on with the Ghost Bikes and Save Red Rock and Bike Coalition. Me with the state, trying to get them involved, and NDOT, and then all the other little organizations throughout Southern Nevada, right? And we've got a lot of momentum right now, a lot of people helping and for the cause and the change, but we're still right now wanting to focus a lot of the fundraising and energy on the families.
Yeah.
That's really a passion as a group. We want to make sure that we can do the best we can to help support them. We don't want it to be forgotten. Too many times things like this are forgotten.
Yep.
And it's going to get real tough for them soon. Dax and I had a conversation about this earlier, actually, and they've got a lot of things, a lot of processes they're going to have to go through. And a friend of mine, when we organized the grief counseling stuff, we met with Penny, who organized that for us, and she mentioned that shock can last up to 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 6 months before they really starts to come to the effect. So we're trying to make a huge impact and supporting them in any ways and using all the resources we've gathered in the city to give them anything they need first and foremost. But behind the scenes, we're building the brand of Ghost Bikes, and we're building the awareness as well. So the number one focus is them right now, but we got a lot of things launching. We just finished up some flyers for the donations for them.
Good.
With some partners like Lifetime, Lamar, Ghost Bike, Save Red Rock, and Breakaway Cycler. And then we have the NDOT. We talked to NDOT about placing signs all over the state, not just like the share the road little triangle signs you guys are used to seeing, but actual signs all the time, everywhere, with bike figures and things like that will really catch people's attention. We're working with them to get permanent bike statue fixtures. I asked them we're going to find out who owns the land near the accident so we can make a little pull out safe area, because people are going to start visiting.
Yeah.
And we don't need any more tragedies.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So we're doing, we got safe routes to schools involved so we can start young with the children. We got seminars we're going to teach them. The state pedestrian board agreed to do a safety instruction every month from 2021. And this is just like 3 days into it. We got a store we're about to launch. I think actually it's launched as we're speaking tonight for Ghost Bikes, where we're gonna do shirts and sweatshirts and coffee mugs and phones and masks and all kinds of little swaggy cool things with the Ghost Bike, no more Ghost Bike on it, and stickers. And 100% of all the proceeds are going to go to the cause to help for the awareness. Save Red Rock, we got Congress on our side right now, all the way up onto the Senate level, the U.S. Congress, way up there. Dax can speak a little bit more on that. And they're on our side, and we're going to try to make things like dedicated bike routes, which are already kind of in the mix, but we're going to try to make that happen faster, sooner. Maybe have memorial sites on those kind of things where people can safely ride their bike and then stop and pay their respects to some of our friends.
At the permanent memorial, Ghost Bikes.
Exactly. We're working on so many different things, and that's why I've been so actively engaging on the social media, and it's because I don't want everyone to lose that momentum. I want them all to know that what they don't know, because I've been doing this and working for the government for a very long time, is these kind of things take years to happen, right? And so people give up or forget. So my goal is to not let them give up or forget, and to keep them on my side forever and forever. And the way to do that is to keep them involved. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I started off, I don't know if you noticed, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all you saw was me probably all over the internet. Well, now that's transitioning to other people. I'm asking them to share, them to donate, bringing them in, and then they'll be a part of it. And once they're a part of it, now we got the camaraderie we need to make things happen, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you got a lot of irons in the fire, if you will, and really great initiatives. And really amazing to see the outpourings of support from lots of different avenues and generating the funds. Actually, I'm going to read a comment here from Shauna Glasso. She even mentioned, I wondered if we should be building funds for the survivors, because those are important people as well. And they may, they're going to be having trauma, as you mentioned, that are going through. So and I know you're very close with a number of the survivors, and like you said, you have counseling set up for them, and that's so important. So thank you for doing that.
So the original thought was the fund would be also for the survivors, but there's some kind of a legal formality going on with all that. I don't know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the fundraising's all breakaway cyclery. Those guys are professional fundraisers. Those guys are geniuses at it. They know what they're doing. So I kind of just promote it and let them.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, you're doing a lot of great work, and so this is really wonderful. And the Ghost Bike, talking about raising awareness that way. I mean, that initiative is only 10 years young.
Yeah, it's really it's
not
even that. I would say closer to 6, 6, maybe 7. I don't know, Pat or one of those guys. I'll have to get the actual number for us.
Well, it's a way to get across to non-cyclists the seriousness of choices. And I know I really liked what you said at the vigil, Hutch, where you said, it's a bit of arrogance in terms of us getting in cars, and we are, we do think we're probably better drivers than we actually are. And I think Gerrard said it as well, that he's worried about hitting a cyclist. I often am so worried that you turn right and you didn't see someone coming along in the bike lane, and so I think there is an arrogance in getting in behind the wheel.
I'm one of the worst for that. Since my phone is always blowing up, I'll stop at a light and get on my phone, which is illegal.
Yeah.
I feel safe, but the light turns green. I haven't finished that text. There's a couple of seconds there where I'm still on my phone. That's not safe.
Right.
So what I did on Saturday is I ordered there's this little mini trash can that you can buy for your cars. I bought one on Amazon. Yep. And that's where my phone goes, in the back seat while I drive.
Oh, I love
it. That way I won't be distracted. If it's next to me, I'll be distracted. If it's an emergency, I have a watch. My watch will say, my wife, emergency, and I'll pull over and take care of it. But that's how it is for here on out, period.
I guess one thing too is most of us are guilty of that, and that's how the society is, and me, I would admit that I couldn't resist it sometimes, but because of this thing happening, and it needs to change, and that change needs to start within us. That, just like how I said it last night, John, at the vigil, you heard how Hutch said what's going on, how our leaders and the legislation side is also involved now. But it really does take time. Like one example from me that I learned, because I was always curious about things, why Port Apache is still not being it's not still cycling friendly. Me attending that NDOT and Southern Nevada Bicycle Coalition Pedestrian and Cyclist Summit, I've learned a lot. Like it takes 22 to 27 years before they repave the roads, the old roads, and that cycle, how many old roads that you have here. So it really does take time, and we cannot just rely with our leaders, with legislations, with the county. They have other issues that they need to tackle. Just not that I'm saying that our issue is supposed to be just shelved, but by just being vigilant and putting it in our own hands. Like what I said, as simple as, I have visitors that are not cyclists and they will see my bikes and I will open the conversation. So yeah, guys, I ride a bike. If you see a person in a colorful Lycra jersey, whatever, just imagine that's me. You know, that just imagine those are my friends. And I started it with my family, and now they give value to that. Now that when they see cyclists on the road, they're very careful. And if we could do that, that could go a long way.
Yeah.
You know, while we're waiting for all these things, it's not like there's a lot of people that has good opinions and suggestions, and they need to come out. They need to attend those summits that uh, the coalition is doing. They need to go on Save Red Rock website and give their signature. You know, we could all be saying this, saying that, but you know, the challenge is, you know, come out, come with us. You know, as a not even just part of a group, just because you're a cyclist. Just like how I'm very motivated to attend those is because I ride, my wife rides, my brother rides, my dad rides bicycle, and soon, like my son, maybe my daughter, and my friends like Hutch and hundreds of them. And you know, you want to know what's really going on is for you to be really hands-on and be direct. Monitor. There's website by Save Red Rock, the website of the Southern Nevada Bicycle Coalition. Check them out, see what's going on. So you know, and maybe they need help. You know, maybe that signature, it doesn't take like a minute to give that signature if they ask for it. You know, just put it in our hands. You know, and that would go a long way if we could do that. You know, it's the education is very important because we can keep educating each other. We already know what we're doing as cyclists, but those people, we gotta admit it. You know, it's not like they don't respect us. They don't know that there's a law that we can occupy a lane if there's no bike lane. Then they need to move over if there's two lane, and if it's not, they have to wait and give us that 3 feet. And this law was passed 2011. If I got my license 2009, I would not read that on the handbook of DMV. So that, but should I just like wait for that? No, I could educate people that comes in my house, my coworkers that are non-cyclists, and you guys, business people. It could be
Well,
a piece of transportation. You know, it's endless.
I think you're spot on that we're all ambassadors and we should all approach it as ambassadors of education. And Hutch, I love the idea of education, you know, in general. The billboards, I think, is a fantastic opportunity to help educate the non-cyclists, because if they're not impacted by an event like this, uh, I don't, well, it's hard to imagine anyone not being impacted by an event like this.
It humanizes our friends to the non-cyclists, so they can see that these are brothers and sisters and
That's right.
uncles and nephews and spouses, so on and so forth.
And we have role in the community. We have role in the society too. You know, like your job, it's very critical to some people if you're running a business or whatever. So it's also an endless, you know, like discussion that, you know, you should be treated, you know, with value. Even if you're on your bike, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
You know, still you still have a life, and there's lives that depends on you. Even your dogs, you know, like who can walk my dogs, right? So that little thing right there, you know, it should be valued.
Yeah.
And the consistency, John, the main problem now is the consistency. How are we going to be consistent about this? And I'm guilty too. Like, you know, when it dies down, I forget too. So, you know, I have new clients. I think from now on, my personal vigilance is I'll put it in my hands that if I have a new client, I will explain this and I will obligate them to discuss this to their families, to their friends, you know, and that's just small thing. But like I said, it could really go a long way, and it will help us. It will help the culture. Maybe not right now. Maybe when my daughter is ready to ride, it's different. I'm hoping, you know?
Yeah.
But we got to start it. It would take time, but when is that time?
It
You know?
takes time. It takes, you know, laws to be changed. It takes, you know, roads to be redesigned. And I know we have a few roads that have, you know, separated bike paths on the road, which is pretty neat. And then we have our, you know, individual, you know, bike paths, multi-use paths, and those are great. We need to advocate for more of those, and that's the lasting change. But you
And
know,
John, that's what doesn't take time. What you can do right now, this second, is advocate for safety, period.
mhm.
That shouldn't take time.
No,
Everything else, sure, all the government, legislature, but we proved that in less than 24 hours, we could all come together as a community.
that's
So
right.
why can't we do that every day for what
Mhm.
we all stand up and believe in?
Yep. No, that you're spot on with that. And we're all ambassadors. Everyone watching this video,
Yep.
everyone on two wheels, everyone running, everyone swimming somewhere. We're all advocates, and
We
we're
need
all
you all.
ambassadors. Yeah.
We need you all. You're all part of the family.
Exactly, like what the ghost bike movement. It's a movement, and
Mhm.
and it could be a personal movement. Ghost bike doesn't need you guys to ask their permission to spread that logo. We don't we don't we don't want to wait where a tragedy happened and then we're using that logo. We could use that logo anytime. It's for everybody.
In fact, Dax, every single team, every single local organization should have that logo on their jerseys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Period. Throwing it out there and calling everyone out on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody needs to have that logo on their jerseys.
Yep.
I
If you
have
need
a
it, call me. I'll get it to you.
I have a big team that is nationwide, actually worldwide, and I'm going back and forth texting with him, and he said, he's already took off Las Vegas. He put worldwide, and now it's just spreading worldwide, and that's the goal. It should not be just Vegas, should not be just California. It should be everywhere, and then it will change the culture. That okay, this should be accepted. This should promote road safety and harmonious relationship between the cyclist and the motorist and the pedestrians. And we also, as cyclists too, we have responsibility to stop on a stop sign, stop on a red light. Don't beat those red lights, man. Like, because we're creating that image now that we're like rebels in the road, and we're just as arrogant as, so we're not gonna get respect. And even if we get honked on, we get taunted. I experienced that. I got shot by a BB gun just riding my bike, but I gotta be like controlling my emotions, because if I engage, I only have my body. This like V6 car could easily do harm, and we gotta be smart about that. We gotta choose our battles, and as hard as it is, that's just the best way to really react is just hold your tongue, don't say anything, don't flip them out, just be patient, and when motorist gives way, you need to acknowledge it, you need to say thank you, you need to nod your head. That's the culture that we want to promote, and that one starts just like what you say, Hutch. We don't have to wait for that. It could start tomorrow,
Right now.
No, that I think we are ambassadors, and that means every time we're on two wheels, we're representing the entire group, and our actions do translate and can translate in a real positive way. So I love this, and so we started this out. I said, "Oh, let's shoot for 30 minutes," and we're well over that. And
I'm sorry.
and no, and I what I love about this conversation is, we're talking about, the love of the cyclists that were killed, the respect of them, the families. There are people directly impacted, and that is at the forefront of the conversations that I've had with each of you individually and collectively. And then there's the other bigger part, well, not necessarily bigger, but the community part. How do we make our community stronger and safer for outdoor activities in general and cycling specifically? And that's going to take time. It's going to take people to be engaged. And if you're watching this video, let those feelings that we've had over this last week be burned into your memory, and don't lose that motivation to advocate for safety. And you're a big part of it. And really, thank you to Hutch, thank you to Dax, and thanks to others out there that are really working hard to make it a safer place for all of us.
And thank you to this great community we have for coming together and showing that you guys really do care. And
Mhm.
I've never witnessed such a community come together like I did this week. And it's not just all of us that are involved in this in these different organizations. It's all of you guys. It's the community 100%.
Yeah.
None of this could have been possible without the community, and moving forward, nothing's going to be possible without you guys still involved. So I want to thank everyone out there, each and every one of you.
Yeah, mad props to everybody. And like I said, the real challenge is what's gonna happen, like tomorrow and the next day. And we have so many things that we need to like just keep that energy. We focus on it. Like we have uh now that we found out about the DUI, this is gonna be
Mhm.
a and it's gonna be really hard for the relatives, and let's support them by keeping this alive. And I think Donna made a page.
She did. Team G.
TEAMG, yeah. So that could be a channel where all the schedule of the hearings could be posted, and people can see it and plan in advance to work on their schedule, maybe appear. And I encourage everybody to join that TEAMG. So something happen or whatever's gonna happen with the case, it could be put out, it could be posted there. Everybody can see what's going on and can support whatever needed to be supported.
Yeah, I
Guys,
second that.
yeah, it's been great talking with you. Yeah, join Team G on Facebook. I think all of us have shared that link on our pages and our different group pages. So hopefully that's easy to find. That's Donna is Tom's wife, and she got that launched, and she's really responding with really trying to do a big call for advocacy, which is really, she's a strong person. So we're here to support her and others as well. Guys, you're doing great work. I love it. And all right, so when we're out biking, everyone's got to start waving.
And one more thing. Don't forget to go to Las Vegas cyclistmemorial.com, share it, donate it. The store is up and live. If you want a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, or anything like that, sticker, and to use hashtag no more ghost bikes on all your related posts.
Mm-hmm. And that one more, and that logo should be on each and everyone's jersey. Mm-hmm. At least, that could be your protection. That could be your shield, like it's an insurance. Mm-hmm. It will be for sure.
And let's honor these 5 by continuing to ride, continuing to strive for excellence, and to love each other. So we'll honor their legacy. All right. Hey, thanks guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in on this.
Love you guys.
Thank you.